It's me again. What's going on, guys? AdamMcKola here, AdamMcKola TV. Hope you guys are all doing well. This is the Manchester United against Wolves preview. We are live. Well, if you're watching live, you might not be watching live. You might be watching after we have been live. And whether you've watched live or you've watched us after the fact, thank you for tuning in to AdamMcKola TV. Thank you for subscribing. And if you're not subscribing, what the hell are you waiting for? Hit that red button which is right below my big fat face and get subscribed to the channel, because there's so much more content coming your way. But we're hot off the heels of Bruno Fernandes signing for Manchester United as we approach this game, and he's been registered in time with the Premier League so he could make his debut against Wolves. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been in his press conference discussing whether the player will make his debut against Wolves, and he's said it's very, very possible, especially with the fact that Nemanja Matic is out. That means, you know, we need players in that midfield area to come in and play. Where will he play? We obviously discussed where he'll fit in at Manchester United in the video that I'd done yesterday. He will, obviously, you'll get to see where he is in my predicted 11 as well, if he's in my predicted 11 a little later on in the show. Make sure you're getting your questions and your thoughts in as well, because remember, this is your show. It's nothing without you guys getting involved. Otherwise, it's just me sitting here talking to myself. So make sure you're getting interactive with the show as we're going on. Like I said, we'll be discussing the game ahead, the Bruno Fernandes potential debut, the potential for a possible walkout as well at the game, as protests are believed to be going on at the match. Not only that, we'll be talking about the opposition, and Wolves have played an awful lot this season. Although we did beat them in the last game, we'll be doing predicted 11s, predicted scores, and all that good stuff. And if anything pops off with a transfer, then you'll find out about that too, because I'm already on live. So make sure you're keeping it locked. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Make sure you're commenting, sharing. If you've got any super chats, I'll read them out for you as well. But for now, let's get stuck in. Bruno Fernandes, as I was saying, he's been confirmed as a Manchester United player. He's been registered for Premier League football, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has given him the green light to be involved in this game. So it'll look like we'll be seeing him debut in this match at Old Trafford. Whether that's from the bench or starting remains to be seen. Me personally, I'd start the fella. You have to look at starting him. We've paid a lot of money for him, which suggests, you know, you're not buying a player that's for the future. You're buying a player that's for now and for the future. Also, you look at his fitness. He's going to be fit. He's been involved in a lot of matches for Sporting, and you know, he's been involved in plenty of fixtures. So it's not like he's been left out of the team. He's not been training. He's been involved. He's been proper involved. He's been scoring goals, making assists, getting involved, and getting his sleeves rolled up and his hands dirty. So he's ready to go straight into the firing line. And after this game, we've got a little bit of a rest to that Chelsea game. So looking at that, you'd like to think, with his move having just happened, you can get through a lot of it on pure emotion alone, adrenaline alone. And I think he'd probably turn out and score the winner if he starts. He's going to be full of aggression, full of that, I've arrived. Now, obviously, once that emotion settles down, you take time to adapt and everything like that, but that could be what we need, a little bit of a firecracker in these games. We've played Wolves a lot, and he gives us a little bit of an unknown. I know they've been active in the market, and they'll probably have a new player on show, but you know, United bringing him in, it gives us a little bit different, a little bit something different. And with that being said, it excites me, man. Bruno Fernandes is fantastic talent. Whether he's playing in the 8, playing further forward, you know, he's someone that I really look forward to seeing in a United shirt. And if he can translate his performances that he showed in a Sporting Lisbon shirt into a Manchester United shirt, then we've got, you know, we've got a little bit of tenacity, a little bit of guile, a little bit of creativity in there. So yeah, ain't nobody paranoid in there in the post-match vids. What you're talking about? If you're wondering why I look around, it's because I don't just like to rely on regulars. So when I'm interviewing people, I'm looking around, because what you'll find is people will gather around you, or people will walk past and say something, or people won't stop to do a fan cam when they possibly may have if I just gave them a little bit of eye contact and said, come on, you can jump on now. So I always like to get new people on. So I like to be aware of who's around me, what's going on around me. Is there someone waiting to come on? Is there someone that's, sometimes some of the best fan cams are people that just jump in and say something. Do you remember Ray's when he started saying bobbins and all that stuff? There's a few great fan cams like that. So you just have to be aware of who's around you, who's stopping. Of course, you got stupid shit like the away fans potentially throwing something at you or something like that. But always trying to find new people for the channel to interview as well, because it's about speaking to a wide range of people. Yes, we'll have the regulars. Yes, we'll have Andy and Steve and all these guys on. But I always want to find someone new, someone regular, someone interesting. Glenn says I would throw him straight in as well, bro. What do we have to lose? And those 3 points before the break are badly needed. I agree with you there. Adam, who would you want to see Bailly back, and for who? Says the reborn one. I would like to see Bailly back in the side very, very soon, and he is in my predicted 11. He's been in my last 2 predicted 11s though, to be totally honest with you. So the fact that he's in my predicted 11 doesn't mean he's going to start, but I'd love him to start. It's about time we got him back, isn't it? Unless Ollie's just thought, let me ease him in. He's been playing him in behind closed doors games, under 23s. Maybe he's just thought, let's ease him in, let's get him training, let's get him involved with the team, and we'll bring him in after the break. But I'd like to see him start. I are going on the True Geordie show soon, says Ben. Hopefully, the last one I went on was for the Liverpool game, so hopefully I'll be back on with the lads very soon. He also, he'll message me or whatever and let me know if there's a game coming up. So yeah, I'll be on it soon. Could I have someone else doing that for me? I have had that in the past. I haven't got that at the moment. I still listen to what people are saying though. But yeah. Greetings from Peru, says Mauricio. It's absolutely amazing how many different people we get in the comments and how many different countries and continents that are covered in the comments. It's absolutely incredible. Michael Wood says, I hope he does Scholes' shirt number proud. Now, Bruno Fernandes has been confirmed as the number 18 for Manchester United, which is obviously Paul Scholes' old number, Ashley Young's old number. So it's a nice one, isn't it? He goes, it's his partner's birthday as well, which shows a little personal connection for him. But he's aware of the connection to Paul Scholes, and he wants to follow in those footsteps, and of course follow in the footsteps of Cristiano Ronaldo, who came from Sporting Lisbon, Portuguese player, came to United and done well. So hopefully he can do just that. Of course though, there is talk at the game on Saturday about a walkout protest against the Glazers, against Ed Woodward. Now I fear that this Bruno Fernandes signing is going to be like a pin in a balloon and just pop it. Now if it doesn't go ahead this weekend, I hope it goes ahead at a game in the future. Now there's a number of reasons why it might not go ahead this weekend. Not only do you have the added interest of Bruno Fernandes potentially making his debut, which I shouldn't think should make, if you want to protest, you shouldn't allow the debut of Bruno Fernandes to change your mind. I'm not saying it would change my mind, but it would change some people's mind. So you have to bear that in mind. Also, some people don't want to protest so close to Munich Memorial, which again is understandable. I think as long as it doesn't it's not hijacked, we don't hijack the Munich Memorial, I don't see an issue with protesting on the day. It's not on the February the 6th, it's just the game that's closest to the February the 6th. As long as we pay our respects before the game, during the game, the 58th minute applause and all that stuff, and then walk out on the 68th minute, I don't see an issue with it. If there's enough people and there's enough interest in doing it on Saturday, and I'm not going to be walking out on my own, or just 10 of us walking out the stadium and it doesn't make the impact that we want, I am going to be involved in it, because I do believe it's time we made a stand and made a voice. I know we've done this in 05, 9, 10. We've had protests in the past. They've not got rid of them, and I don't think this would get rid of them at all. I don't think it would get rid of them, but what I think it does is it puts pressure on them to act correctly. It puts pressure on commercial sponsors, shareholders, any potential revenue that they hope to get from advertising sponsors and stuff like that, because seeing customers, because that's how they view us, aren't happy, you've got empty seats in your stadium for the last quarter of a game, that is a big visual impact, and that is a big statement to make. Now, obviously, I think you'd have to do something on a more consistent basis. Maybe follow that up with arriving to your seats 10 minutes late at the next home game or something like that. But I do think that the protest should be done, whether it's this game, whether it's another home game. It should be done. If it's done on Saturday, I will be involved. But I understand why some people may not do it. I also don't want it to see descend into almost civil war. What we've got to realise is there's some people that are going there maybe for their first game. Maybe they're going there with their kids. Kids aren't going to want to leave early. I remember when I was a kid, my dad would say, let's leave just before the full-time whistle. And I'd be like, are you on crack, Dad? I want to stay here to the very bitter end and be the last one to walk out and see all the players walk past me. And you've got to see that some people will be in that position with children or just themselves personally. They won't want to do it. So we've got to be aware of that. But I respect the need and the urgency to protest. There's a reason to do it. There's been reason to do it for 15 years. We should never get off their necks. We should always continue. But will it make them sell? Probably not. Hopefully it makes them, I don't know, appoint someone who's more qualified than Ed Woodward, or makes them think twice about, certain decisions. But it's an interesting one, and I do hope it goes ahead. But I understand with Bruno being his debut, with it being close to Munich, some people might not want to do it. My dad said, go on, Brad. Bruno as a sub, I could see in the next match. That's the thing. If Bruno does come off the bench, you're not going to bring him off the bench in the first half. You're going to bring him off the bench in the second half. When you're going to bring him off the bench, it'd usually be around the 65th minute. So it'd be an interesting one. And maybe this is the club playing chess, not checkers, with the fans. Do you think we could see a return of that football played in all his early games with a 4-3-3 with Bruno? In the video that I did yesterday, where we were discussing where Bruno would play for Manchester United, I mentioned 4-3-3 was the one that I really wanted to see United go with. I loved it when we played with Matt Torreira, Pogba, Lingard, Rashford and Martial in all his early days, and I think we should go back to that kind of thing. You can have McTominay or Fred with Bruno and Pogba. I think that'd be a great midfield three, and then a front three, Martial, Rashford and another. I think it'd be a pretty decent side, that. And then if you look further back and you got Maguire, Wan-Bissaka, De Gea, etc. On paper, year 11 doesn't look too bad. Now your tactics, your coaching has to be spot on then, because you've got no excuses. Leif says Rash and Tony both complement each other, but they're both left attackers. Tony did better as a 9 than Rashford did when he was injured at the start of the season. I think we have to stop rushing to judge. It's a learning curve for those players. We saw Rashford had a dip at the start of the season, then he's gone on a blitz. We saw Martial's kind of had a steady season, and then he's had a little dip recently. I think we just need to chill out a little bit. Brent Bradley, how good has Fred been? He's been amazing, hasn't he? He's been fantastic for Manchester United in recent weeks. He's had his moments where he hasn't been and he's made mistakes, but that's going to happen when you play in that position. What I like about him is tenacity. His head never drops. He always gets his head back up. If he misplaces a pass or he misplaces a foul, his head's always up. He's always looking to get back on the ball and get United going again. And I really like it. He's taken some responsibility on as well. And I think the work that Ollie and Carrick and whoever have done with him on the training pitch seems to be paying off. So well done to them with that. We're going to move on to starting 11s and all that jazz right about now. Is Bruno in my starting 11? Can I get a drum roll, please? Here we go. He is in my starting 11. I've gone for an interesting one. I've gone for us to stick with the 3-4-1-2. I think Ollie was kind of playing that formation with Bruno's arrival in mind. We got more centre halves available. We've got a player that can play midfield and in that advanced role coming back. Now, when Matic was fit, you could see where Bruno would fit in. He'd probably be in that Andreas position. But with Matic being out, I think we should go with this team. De Gea, Maguire, Bailly, Lindelof. Wan-Bissaka, Bruno, Fred, Williams, Andreas, Martial or Greenwood. Martial and Greenwood. I was going to say Andreas could be Lingard, it could be Mata, it could be any of those players. Angel Gomez would be nice, but it's probably not going to happen. Leif says, is the new hate on Martial because Ashley Young left and we need someone to fill the gap? Probably, mate. Probably. I find it strange how United fans sections of United fans just can't wait for someone to have a dip in form so they can get on their back, and refuse to see the good things that they may have done this season as well. Showing Wolves too much respect, in my opinion, using a back five. I don't think that is actually. You could probably say it's a more attacking position, because then you have 3 centre halves sitting there, and you could potentially have Wan-Bissaka pushing quite high up the pitch, Williams pushing quite high up the pitch, so they're right next to Andreas, and Bruno and Fred trying to break down the line. So I don't actually think it is a defensive formation. Obviously, it looks that way because you have more defenders on the pitch, but it just means Wan-Bissaka and Brandon Williams have less defensive responsibility, and they can attack more. Would you swap Andreas with Bruno, says Kieran? Possibly, yes. That is a possibility, and we could see that. But the reason I wouldn't is, I think Bruno's better in terms of, he's got a little bit more edge about him in terms of fight and that. Volva Spark says, I'm thinking the same 11 but Delo instead of Wan-Bissaka. You could put Wan-Bissaka in Bailly's place, obviously on the right centre-back position, so it'd be Maguire's place, but push Maguire across, put Delo at wing-back. Delo's decent talent. We've seen him picking up Bruno Fernandes for training this morning, which was nice to see. So yeah, hopefully they can strike up a little bit of a relationship on the pitch as well. Bruno is a creative player, says Darshan. I know what Bruno is, mate. Don't have to tell me, unless you're speaking to someone in the comments. I'm not playing. That's not a holding position, is it? It's a midfield position. Andreas is a 10 position. He's not an out-and-out 10. I think Bruno does start, Daniel. Daniel's in the comments saying, surely Bruno doesn't come in and start straight away. I think he could start straight away. Why don't we play Williams right back, Shaw left back? Wan-Bissaka looks jaded, says James. I don't know why you need to force Shaw in at left back and Williams in at right back if you have that option there of Delo. So that's my opinion. 2-0, says Haristes. That's a bit optimistic. I am feeling optimistic about this game. I just feel the new signing could probably get a little bit of a reaction from the boys. Might get a little bit of a reaction from Martial and Greenwood in terms of they've now got somebody that's going to be trying to pick out those passes, trying to find them constantly. So that would be good to see as well. Garner over Andreas as United. We've got an update on James Garner's future as well. He was linked with a move away from Manchester United and on loan. But Ollie has said he's not going to leave on loan this window. Marshall gets hate because he's an inefficient forward that doesn't really try, says Thomas. That is such bollocks. It's such bollocks. I bet you were one of those that used to say Berbatov isn't great because he doesn't run around like a headless chicken. Not everybody runs around like a headless chicken 24/7. His movement's been better this season. His pressing's been better. His leading of the line's been better. He played badly against Manchester City, but I just think people have to calm down. Everyone ripped Rashford off. There was people out there calling Rashford Trashford and Rashbeck and all this kind of bollocks. And now look at him. Stop being so quick to write players off. I'm surprised the class of 92. Fucking, if we watched them live every single week and we had the internet, you'd see tweets. Oh, this geezer's shit. Beckham's shit. Gary Neville's shit. Scholes is shit. You would have seen all these things. They don't care. They don't like moving. Have you seen how ineffective our midfield has been this season? Now, Martial only had himself to blame against Manchester City. He had a bad game. But our midfield has not created an opportunity. Andreas gets his head up, loses the ball. How many times have you seen Andreas running through the ball and not play the ball through? How many times have you seen Jesse Lingard not play the ball through and the ball just not stick to him? Mata doesn't play enough. So you're looking at someone that will find those runs, and there hasn't been there. And then you see the frustration build. Then you think, all right, I'm going to drop deep. We seen it when Rashford started up front through the middle as well. But nevertheless, you like keep talking anyway. But I know how good that boy is, and I think he'll prove everyone wrong. And I just think we've got to chill out a little bit, because we're judging some of these young. I know Martial's 23, 24, so he's got to take a bit more responsibility. I'm not saying he's young, but we're judging some of these players as if they should be the finished article right now. They haven't had a great team around them. I do want to see him take some of that. Let's talk about what he was doing wrong against City, though, because obviously some of the criticism is warranted. What he was doing wrong against City was he wasn't staying in the box whenever we had the ball out wide. Now, why is that happening? The balls very rarely actually get whipped into a dangerous position. So you can see why he would grow frustrated, but you can't, as a striker, you can't do that. If Ruud van Nistelrooy got fed up every time Cristiano Ronaldo didn't cross the ball and just thought, fuck this, I'm going to run outside the box and get the ball, he'd never be in the area to score goals. And I think you have to always give that option, because then they may be there to force the ball into the box. But I think a lot of it does come down to lack of service. If you have someone that you know is going to be looking for you, look at him when Rashford plays, when Pogba plays. He knows they're going to pass to him, they're going to look for him. And there's too many times when Andreas has the ball, Mata has the ball, Lingard has the ball, they look up, or the first touch isn't good enough, we lose the ball breaks down, and we don't get it through. So yes, he does need to be more responsible, be a little bit more of a bastard in terms of, if I don't score this game, I'm going to be pissed off. But I don't think it's the end of the world like everyone's going on. Like, you did this with fucking Rashford, and now look, just chill out. That's rubbish. Anyway, moving on. We are talking about Manchester United against Wolves. That is my predicted 11. I'm going for a 3-4-1-2. If Bailly doesn't start, Bailly's in there in hope rather than expectation. If Bailly doesn't start, then you could possibly see Maguire shift across, Wan-Bissaka as the right centre-back, Dalot as the right wing-back. Mo says there's no one creating. If he lays off the ball and gets in the box, the ball goes back to our keeper. He tries to create and score. That's true. Martial's hold-up play is quite good, says Bren. Yeah, it is. It wasn't against City. The ball kept bouncing off him like his name was Lukaku, but it usually is. And it was very good against Liverpool as well. I think people should watch the performance he played against Liverpool and show you how much he has performed and improved in terms of his all-round play. He should have scored in that game. He missed a big chance, I know that. But his all-round play was very good. Volva says Martial wasn't that effective versus City because they just swarmed their own box with players when they were out of possession. Get hitting that like button, get subscribing to AdamMcKola TV, and get sharing this video. The game is at Old Trafford, 5:30 PM kickoff UK time on Saturday. Cannot wait for this one. Bruno Fernandes' debut, whether that's off the bench or from the start. Now, I've got him in the starting lineup. There's no Matic because he's suspended. We obviously know all about Wolves and their threats. Raul Jimenez, Adama Traore, Joao Moutinho, Ruben Neves. They've got some fantastic players, fantastic talent in their team. We need to be aware of that. In the last game, we did get the win in the FA Cup thanks to Juan Mata's goal in a 1-0 win. It was a fantastic finish as well. I would be looking for Juan Mata to start this game, but I think Bruno might start this game, and then we'll see Mata left out because of that. But you could still fit Mata into my team in Andreas's position if you really wanted to. I just think Andreas offers us a little bit more legs, whereas if Bruno gets caught up the field, then Andreas can always drop back and cover if required. Guys, I am feeling confident about this game. I don't know whether it's just because we finally made a transfer signing or not, but I'm going with a 2-0 victory for Manchester United and Bruno to get a goal or an assist in this game. For Sporting, he gets one every 90 minutes. Now, I think his performances in terms of numbers will likely drop for United. He's not going to be as clinical in terms of scoring goals. He might get a little bit more assists for us, and that's because we probably share our goals around a little bit more in this team. So don't expect him to be scoring as many goals as he did for Sporting, but I still think he's a great addition to the team. Let's hope he settles into the Premier League and doesn't do a Kagawa or a Mkhitaryan. Do you think bringing in Keane would affect the development of Greenwood? Says Jake. At the age of 28, no, I don't think it would. I wanted Erling Haaland, so you know what I mean. Wolves will try hard, says Darshan. Not sure if that's a David Moyes account or not, but obviously they will. They're a fantastic side, and I'm sure they will be trying to beat Manchester United, like most teams do when they come to Old Trafford these days. We have got a super chat from United Dioxy, who's read out a few comments from you today, but we've got a super chat one coming through now as well. Love from Sydney, Australia. Been watching since 2014. People hating on Toto or on Meth. They don't know a good baller if it hit them in the dick. What a comment. Absolutely great stuff there from United Dioxy with his super chat. If you want to get your super chats in, you've got a couple of more minutes for me to read those out. And if you want to get your comments and your score predictions in for the game as well, feel free to do that. I am going for a 2-0 win for Manchester United, but feel free to get your score predictions, your goal scorer predictions, and all the rest in right about now. We'll keep this stream rolling for a couple of more minutes, but Manchester United taking on Wolves at home at Old Trafford. Premier League football, 3 big points up for grabs. Chelsea are playing Leicester. Could we close the gap on the top 4? Fingers crossed. Jake says, love all your content on both personal channel and full-time Devils. Keep up the sit word. I appreciate every single one of you, and I appreciate you too, Jake. Thank you, Ben. I did mess it up a little bit somewhere yesterday, but I'm not going to show you. Need to hide it, but when I trimmed it yesterday. Kieran said 2-1 United. DJ John T says 3-0 United. I'm assuming because the 3 is the first score that I'm seeing. We've got 187 concurrent viewers. 187 on your motherfucking block right now. 3-1 Bruno hat-trick, says Haristes. Do you think it's time to sell Lingard, says Lawrence? Probably not yet. Wouldn't be surprised to see him leave in the summer. But probably not yet. 4-0 Wolves are going to crumble, says Glenn. We've got to watch out for Adama Traore if we're going for a back 3, says BA. True. Brandon Williams has had a good time with him, hasn't he, before? So much so that in the last game, Adama Traore opted to play on the completely different wing. Interesting, Adama. You shook off young Brandon. It's okay. Many people are. Mo Mears predicting a Bruno debut goal. Lawrence is saying 2-1 for Manchester United. Lingard to Inter, says Darshan. They've been signing everyone else, so it wouldn't surprise me at all. Chelsea drop points. We are guaranteed to drop them too, says Ben Bradley. Keep up the great work, says Volva. Shantanu says 3-2 to Manchester United. And I am saying 2-0 to United on Bruno's debut at Old Trafford. Potential walkout. If it happens, I will be involved, I've got to say. But let's see what happens at Old Trafford on the weekend. Guys, for now, thank you for tuning in to AdamMcKola TV. I appreciate every single last one of you for tuning in. Subscribe, like, comment and share. Come on, United. Come on, Bruno Fernandes. I'm out of here.